Well, I mean, he's Chris Sale. He can do what he wants. And then the umpires handled it well. I'm glad they didn't warn him before, because then it keeps you from pitching inside, even though there were a couple of balls after that. But, again, Dylan Bundy did what he thought he should do last night. He's never going to admit that he did it. Kind of set up bets, hit him in the hip. The good thing about Sale, at least he threw down, somewhere in the hip area. But bottom line is he didn't hit him. Nobody got hurt. I would like to think it's over. And then he did what he is capable of doing. I mean, he's a #1 starter. They gave up the best prospect in baseball. They paid $72 million for young Moncana and 3 other guys. So you get a #1 guy. He's under contract for another 4 or 5 years at well under what they're paying Porcello and Price. And then you got to see his capabilities tonight. He's a very special. He looks like Rubber Man out there. If I ever come back, if I'm going to be reincarnated, I want to come back as Chris Sale, making a little bit more money and have the same kind of windup.
You're pretty flexible, Jim. I'll give you some of that. Come on.
Not anymore.
Hanley Ramirez, a couple of home runs tonight. The Boston Red Sox come into the series with only 15 home runs on the season. Do you really think this guy's a good enough hitter to take over for Big Papi in the middle of that order?
Well, nobody's going to replace David Ortiz. On-base percentage, the ability to hit righties or lefties, presence in the locker room, on the field. But again, you pick your poison. In the old days, you had Fisk, you had Butch Hobson, you had a lot of strong right-handed hitters, Evans. They would look for balls, fastballs out over the plate. These are 2 breaking balls. So they, just because they're less speed, they speed up the bat. One was a hanging slider. He clobbered it, then a hanging curveball. I thought Alec Asher actually pitched very well. He was efficient. He did give up the 2 home runs, but they were solos. That's part of pitching here at Fenway Park. He hung a slider to Pedroia after Moreland did a typical what left-handers can do here. They hit a fly ball off the wall 350 feet away. But at the end of the day, he kept you in the game against Chris Sale. I mean, it's easy to throw, but he didn't. So, again, down the road, I don't know if he'll get another start. It was about, 17 days between his start up in Toronto. But, again, he's easy to play behind. It just got outpitched by one of the best pitchers in baseball, if not the best overpowering pitcher in the American League. And, I pitched on a lot of great staffs, and you never want the guy in front of you to fail. Porcello, who pitched well last night. But what you do want to do is, the competitive nature of trying to outdo the guy that pitched well the day before. So they're going to have a great staff. Tonight they got the big hits. They got the 2 home runs, and that's how they won.
Jim, let's go back for a moment about the Manny Machado thing earlier. When he got that double to deep center field back in Baltimore, and now tonight he hits a home run, even though it wasn't in that same at-bat, when they went inside him. What's that tell you about Manny Machado as a person that can really focus in the ball game?
Manny Machado is Manny Machado, Tom. I mean, he's one of the great players in the game. That's why I said in the air, if Matt Barnes had actually hit him, in the head, he would have been known as a guy that, maybe ended his career. We saw it up here with Jack Hamilton. Jack Hamilton was a, good pitcher. But again, the fact that he, and he didn't try to do it on purpose. He ends up hitting Tony Conigliaro. Any Red Sox fan can go back to, 1967 or 8 or whenever that happened, and they go, hey, who's Jack Hamilton? He's the guy that changed Tony Conigliaro's life. And so if you're going to throw it, guys, do it like Bundy, do it like Sale. And again, it's part of the game. Pedroia said that after the slide by Manny. It wasn't a great slide. I don't think he did it on purpose. Hey, you hit the guy the next day and you move on. And I think that's what these teams are going to do now.
As always, we appreciate your comments, Jim Palmer. We'll talk to you tomorrow night when the Orioles play Game 3 of this 4-game series against the Boston.